Welcome to the Rubio Method. Venture into the unfiltered world of Chris Rubio. The Rubio Method delivers an unapologetically edgy take on the often overlooked world of men's mental health. Rubio, a master communicator, wields a potent knack for no BS enlightenment. Step into this no-nonsense arena, where men are challenged to evolve and confront the man staring back at them from the mirror.
Focus. Focus up. I'm talking to you, Jenna. Yeah, Jenna's back with us today, but I'm very disappointed. She didn't go to Mexico with Nana Mona, even though she told me she did. She went to Vegas and did one of the most pathetic things I've ever heard. She had an early flight out and she decided to go to bed early the night before. That is such an amateur hour move. Talking to someone who's been to Vegas probably 150 to 200 times, you party through the night. You pack your suitcase, you go to the airport. You don't call it early in Vegas. Jenna, okay, she says she was alone, so it's responsible. You're in Vegas. Responsible is not the word you use in Vegas, baby. Vegas. Unacceptable. Very disappointed. Anyway, back to me. My name is Chris Rubio, host of the Rubio Method. If you have any email questions, you can email rubio@therubiomethod.com. This is episode 76. Holy hell. That's a lot of episodes. This is going to be kind of a different show. I'm actually going to have two guests on with me today. Two guests. I haven't had a guest on in a while. I tend to dominate the conversation. So what are we going to talk about? Not just with the guests, but all around. We're going to lead right out of the gate. Hard for me not to. I didn't want to go so political, but Trumpo was almost assassinated for the second time in 55 days. It would be ignorant for me not to talk about that. Then we're going to talk about a rapper who couldn't keep it under wraps. This story is just flat out bizarre. I was reviewing it with Jenna not 8 minutes ago, and she was like, what the hell's going on? We're going to talk about how the eighth wonder of the world might be in the desert. And if you haven't seen it, you need to see it. Yet again, another sign of disappointment for Jenna. She didn't go see what I'm talking about. That's kind of a hint. Finding a better you no matter what your age or your past. That's going to be one of our guests. And our final guest, we're going to talk about taking control from those that want to control you. All of that and much, much more on today's episode of the Rubio Method. Jenna, I'm out.
You have been watching the Rubio Method. Take it away, Rubio.
Focus up. I'm talking to you, Whitney, at One Shots right at the beginning of the show, so you don't have to scroll all the way through because I know you're busy. Seriously, shout out to Whitney. She's one of the greatest hardworking women out there, owner of One Shot Charlie's. They do great work out in southeast corner of Coeur d'Alene Lake. That's a hard one. Welcome back to episode 76 of the Rubio Method. If you're on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, or X, make sure you chime in, subscribe, like, share, send it to someone who you think will like it. Hey, send it to someone who you think will not like it. I'd love to have a good argument on here. So let's start. Everything happens for a reason. I need to tell you a story to get into this one, okay? So I lived right outside Los Angeles, California growing up, and anyone that's been in Los Angeles, California, when you're growing up or just any time, you know that in the summer, it gets hot. And I lived in what's called the San Gabriel Valley, so it's about 20 miles east of Los Angeles, 20 miles north of Disneyland. Had mountains on one side, whatever, and you're in a valley, so heat kind of sits around. So it's not It happened a lot to where we'd have weeks of over 100 degrees. All right. So I'm going to say I was age probably 10 or 11, 12, right around there. And in the middle of the summer, now my mom did a great job of raising me. She's single mom, did great. We lived in a small home. She still lives in the exact same home. It's like 1,100 square feet, 3 bedrooms. Each bedroom you can do this and touch the walls. 1.25 bath, no AC. Now, need I remind you, when I was younger, I was fat. Fat people don't like heat. Okay, you got all the extra pounds, you don't like the heat. Have I reminded you, once again, this house did not have AC. Side note, the day I moved out to college, my mother got AC for the house. Thanks, Mom. So she waited for the 350-pound human being to leave, then she got AC. That tells you how low on the totem pole I was. Just kidding. So anyway, during the summer, it gets hot. I'm a fat kid, chubby, we'll say, husky, as they like to say back in the 80s and 90s. and we had no AC. So in the summer, we had, I think it's called a swamp cooler or a wall unit or something, but it was in the dining room next to the kitchen. I don't know what the hell that was all about, who set that up. And we had this big couch that turned into a bed. Okay. And it was old school. So if you turned it into a bed, it was one where you could feel the bars like going into your spine. And by night 2, you'd have spina bifida or a crink in your back or something like that. It was just the most uncomfortable thing you've ever experienced. But when it got really, really hot, we would go out to the living room and just kind of lay down on this couch bed that was miserable. If it wasn't that hot, I was known to get my entire sheets for my bed, soak them in the tub, then throw them on the bed. Not the most hygienic, now that I think about it, and probably cause mold and mildew. But when you're 300 pounds at age 10 and you're sweating, you got to do what you got to do. So when it was not that hot, we would just open up the windows. During this summer that I'm talking about, there was a guy walking around called Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker. Anyone that's over a certain age or lived on the West Coast, you know exactly what I'm talking about. This crazy ass, I'm talking crazy, crazy dude was just walking around LA and around the areas. And this is before social media, obviously. So every night you'd have on the news, and they have like a Richard Ramirez night. They called him the Night Stalker because he stalked at night. And he would just go into anyone that left their windows open. He'd go in there, rape someone, kill someone gruesomely. I mean, it was really, really disturbing. So this guy starts going around. And he's like, literally, they're showing the next day they'd have a little tracker. I know you were talking about watch a lot of murder shows. That's good, Jenna. Yeah, I'll probably on killing bats too. And this guy was just, I mean, I think he was like literally the Satan himself. So at one point, he was like a block from our house. So I think our air conditioner broke down and we had to sleep with all the windows closed because if you had a cracked window, the Night Stalker's coming in. And this, obviously, I was 10, 11, 12, whatever, scared the absolute hell out of me. And as tough as my mom was, she's not beating up the Night Stalker. So from that point on, I hated that guy. I mean, it was one of those, not only did I hate the fact that he's killing people and going through the windows, and I had to keep my windows closed. So I'm sweating, this fat kid's sweating, scared to death. So it brings me to the thought of, if I had known then that if I was able to go back and kill baby Richard Ramirez, baby Night Stalker, if someone said, Rubio, this is the Night Stalker. He's a little baby, but when he gets older, he's going to be one of the worst mass murderers in the history of America. Would you kill him? Should you kill him? It brings up an odd question, right? It brings me to my first story, though. This Sunday, there was another assassination attempt on El Trumpo. And you're thinking, okay, Rubio, what's it have to do with anything? Well, here's the thing. The person that did it was someone who voted for El Trumpo in 2016. But then he went off the deep end. He started to listen to a lot of rhetoric where over and over and over you'd hear people say, El Trumpo is the next Hitler. He's a threat to our democracy. And you're like, Rubio, come on. They really didn't say that. So he was radicalized for 8 years. Jenna, do you have video 1 and 2 for me? Let's just do 1 first.
No, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart. Those of you who know me, many of you do. No place in political violence for political violence in America. None. Zero. Never. We must do everything we can to prevent it and never give it any oxygen. Most importantly, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart, Trump is a threat to this nation.
Okay, so you see that, and he says no place for political violence. Got it. Sounds good, Joy B, even though your voice inflection went up a little bit because you're splash of dementia. But then the next one, he says, he's a threat to democracy, threat to America. So if you are a little off, let's say you've just been inundated with information, but it's not right information, and you think, God, I can't stand El Trumpo. And then you hear the president say, he's a threat to democracy, a threat to America. Wouldn't you take that as, yeah, maybe if he's a threat, maybe I can kill him and I would look like a hero against the threat to America. Why wouldn't you? Let's go to the next video with Ellen, Jenna.
Elevator with either President Trump, Mike Pence, or Jeff Sessions. Who would it be?
Does one of us have to come out alive?
Press always asks me, don't I wish I were debating him? No, I wish we were in high school, I could take him behind the gym. That's what I wish. I said, no. I said, if we were in high school, I'd take him behind the gym and beat the hell out of him.
I just don't even know why there aren't uprisings all over the country. Maybe there will be. that you cannot be civil with a political party that wants to destroy what you stand for, what you care about.
If you see anybody from that cabinet in a restaurant, in a department store, at a gasoline station, you get out and you create a crowd. And you push back on them. And you tell them they're not welcome.
You know, there needs to be unrest in the streets for as long as there's unrest in our lives.
Enemies of the state.
President Walker, how do you resist the temptation to run up and wring her neck?
When they go low, we kick.
Please, get up in the face of some Congress people.
Yes, I have thought an awful lot about blowing up the White House.
Okay. Number one, how does Madonna not get arrested for that? Can you just go around saying, yes, I've thought about blowing up the White House? I just don't understand. But see, if you're just a normal person, and you are just hearing this over and over and over and over and over, it goes back to my Richard Ramirez thing. Yeah, Jenna says that's a huge threat, 100%. How, if you, like the whole Richard Ramirez thing, would I have killed him if he was a baby? Probably. And that was before social media. But I knew he was ruining my sleep because I was fat and I was hot. And it was one of those things that he was going around killing people. So if I could stop the enemy before he came the enemy, would you do it? That's the ongoing question. So these people are saying El Trumpo is the worst, threat to democracy, threat to America. He's threatening every single thing you want to do. How do you not have people that are going to think this way and do this way? This is the second attempt on his life in 55 days. And it happened on Sunday. It's now Thursday. It's not even in the news anymore. It's gone. Even in my hometown paper, it was not even in the first section. It was in the second section. Now, we're not talking about page 1B. We're talking about page 2A. So the second section, which is astounding to me. How does this not get for front page of the paper attention? I just don't understand it. So who is this guy? Well, he's been radicalized for 8 years. He's big on Ukraine. I'm not even going to mention his name because it's not worth my time. He had a Kamala Joey B sticker on his truck. Now, here's what I don't understand. He lives in Hawaii on $3,000 a month salary. He's a roofer. How is he affording to go from Hawaii all the way to Miami, pick up a gun with the register number scratched off of it, a big gun, an AK-47 or a type gun? He donated 19 times to Dems and even went full on Ukraine. And he had something very interesting that he tweeted out because he was cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. You have video 3, Jenna, with the one with democracy.
Stochastic terrorism is, right, when a leader uses language that is more likely. Stochastic terrorism is, right, when a leader uses language that is more likely than not to radicalize.
Democracy is on the ballot still.
Democracy is on the ballot.
Democracy is on the ballot.
Democracy's on the ballot.
Democracy's on the ballot.
Democracy is literally on the ballot.
Democracy is on the ballot for this election.
Vice President Harris has made very clear that democracy is on.
Okay, so you can see that's his name, Ryan Ralph. I don't know how you pronounce it. But all those that are just listening on iTunes and Spotify, he showed his tweet where he wrote, democracy is on the ballot. So he's getting this chimed in his ear over and over and over and over and over and over and over. I could have played that for 6 hours if I wanted to. Okay, not just on loop either. We're talking over and over. So this guy says, well, democracy's on the ballot. I like democracy. I got to get El Trumpo out. So let's go back to what actually happened. El Trumpo is at Mar-a-Lago. He's got this West Palm Beach golf course. He decides last minute, I'm going to go golf. So he has the Secret Service with him. What's it called? Last minute, he's going to go golfing. They don't do a sweep of the entire complex, which I don't understand. Okay. This guy's at hole 5 or whatever. And now they all of a sudden notice that, boom, there's a barrel of a shotgun, or not a shotgun, AK-47 rifle sticking through the bushes. So this guy crossed over a median, big piece of grass. And here's the best part. Per his cell phone, he'd been staked out there for 12 hours. Okay, 12 hours. What is that? How did they not just, this guy, not only is he a former president, he's the most threatened former president of any time. He's just got shot at 59 days ago, or 55 days ago, excuse me. How do they not do a sweep? So they didn't even think, and this is a spot that if any reporter wants to get a good photo of El Trumpo, that's where they stay. Like there's 1,000 photos of him from this spot because this is a good spot for him to get photographed and or shot, as this guy figured out. So he's there for 12 hours. He's got his rifle set up. He's got basically 2 bulletproof vest type things and a GoPro. So the GoPro is obviously to make himself famous. So this is one of those things, I'm going to film it. I'm a hero to democracy. I've wiped out the threat. I've wiped out baby Hitler. I don't understand. Now, here's what happened. The Secret Service shot at him, didn't take him out. He takes off in his car. Some lady sees some whack job getting into a car, gets behind him, takes down his license plate. They eventually get him 40 minutes later. All right, 40 minutes later. Now, once again, Jenna, let's go to that new video that I have. Why would someone do this? And do I think it's going to happen again? I'm going to show you why. And do I think it's going to happen again? If they keep this rhetoric up, 100%. Jenna, you have that new video that I just sent you?
Donald Trump is the greatest threat the world faces.
I think you need to go back and punch him in the face.
That he should be put under the jail.
As long as Donald Trump is in the White House, our nation is in danger.
There needs to be unrest in the streets.
Don't even know why there aren't uprisings all over the country, and maybe there will be.
President Trump is a serious threat to U.S. national security.
Have to stand up against it and fight them.
Allegedly told the Secret Service he had driven from California to Las Vegas on June 16th to kill Trump.
Joe Biden becomes U.S. president, but how dangerous does Donald Trump remain?
What's going on in the Trump movement is terroristic. It's Mad Max.
This is the insurrectionist president.
How dangerous Trump will remain.
President Trump is a con man.
This is a dangerous person and evil.
A man dressed to look like President Donald Trump gets stabbed to death on stage.
There's an extremist movement, the MAGA movement. He's a punk, he's a dog, he's a pig, a mutt, this fool, this bozo. It makes me so angry.
What else do you suggest? Murder.
I will shoot Donald Trump Sr. and Barron Trump straight in the face.
If reelected, he will be a dictator.
And we cannot let that happen.
Should never again have the chance to stand behind a microphone.
I mean this from the bottom of my heart.
All right, I've had enough. Like, you can do that for literally days. Now, think if you're a normal person, and you're normal, quote unquote, for all those listening on Spotify and iTunes, and you just hear this over and over and over, how would you not think he's a threat to democracy? He's the worst. He's Hitler, blah, blah, blah. So you're thinking, okay, Rubio, he just got attempted assassination on Sunday. They've had to tone down the rhetoric, right? Jenna, let's play video 4. This was on Monday.
Apparent assassination attempt comes amid increasingly fierce rhetoric on the campaign trail itself. Mr. Trump, his running mate J.D. Vance continue to make baseless claims about Haitian.
So less than 48 hours after, they basically are blaming El Trumpo for almost getting shot at again. How about they just get up and say, hey, guys, let's throttle it down about 80 to 90%. He's really not that bad. If he was going to be that bad, he would have done it during his first presidency. You guys forget that he already was president once and none of this bad stuff happened. So let's take it down about 70 to 80%. Also, Jenna, let's take it to a commercial. I'm out.
You have been watching The Rubio Method.
Hey, it's AC of AC Sports Live, an interactive sports talk show where your comments are part of the show. Every show we focus on the sports stories of today, with commentary on sports takes, my 2 cents, which is a reaction to my social media feed, Sports Flicks, where we take a look at sports movies and give a quick review. We have a segment called Mental Reps, where we have words of inspiration to help battle the dark side of men's mental health. And then there's the Tender Love Report. Who's being soft or petty in the world of sports? All takes are welcome under one condition. Say it with your chest. I'll see you there.
Take it away, Rubio.
Focus up. I'm talking to you, AC of AC Sports Live, Tuesdays at 9 p.m. on YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook. I think he's on Twitch and X and all. I don't know what the hell Twitch is, but I hear him say it a lot. Very, very good sports-related content. He takes a lot of live questions. He does a great, great job. If you want to subscribe, share, comment on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, any of those, I'm more than welcome. If you agree, write it. If you don't agree, write that too. We'll have a good conversation about it. There are winners and losers in life. This is a wild story. So it turns out in 2008, they started kind of doing this investigation on Sean Combs, otherwise known as Puff Daddy, otherwise known as P. Diddy. And they started to notice, okay, this guy's a little bit freaky. We kind of need to investigate him. So we're going to start off with, okay, like who was he involved with? What was going on? What's the content of this? Is there anything that kind of was red flags? So Jenna, let's do that first one with young Justin Bieber. Let's do this video first.
Right now, he's having 48 hours with Diddy, him and his boy. They're having the times of their lives, like you know, where we hanging out and what we doing, we can't really disclose, but it's definitely a 15-year-old's dream. You know, I have been given custody of him. You know, he signed to Usher. I'm signed to Usher. I had legal guardianship of Usher when you know he did his first album. I did Usher's first album. I don't have legal guardianship of him, but for the next 48 hours, he's with me. So and we gonna go full crazy. Going crazy.
Okay, now number one, he's 15. He looks like he's 11. Number two, what kind of parent would allow their 15-year-old kid who's in the music industry to just go hang out with someone else in the music industry that's probably 15 to 20 years older than them for 48 hours? Like no supervision. Like I get it. You want your kid to be popular in the music industry, but hey, pull your head out of your ass. I don't care if this guy was charged with anything or not. That's just weird. I mean, unless you knew Puff Daddy, Sean Combs, P. Diddy, whatever the hell it was, since birth, and he's like a longtime friend, that's bizarre. So I got to blame the parents on that one. Okay, and so you're thinking to yourself, all right, so what are we talking about here? So I'll just say, I'll open with this one because this one got Jenna a lot. They found in a raid to his house 1,000 bottles, 1,000 bottles of baby oil and lube were found in his house. 1,000 bottles of baby oil and lube. First of all, where are you storing that? And second of all, is he ordering it by truckload? I can't see you going into Walgreens or CVS and saying, hey, fill her up and get a shopping cart. I mean, I'm assuming, Jenna, do me a favor. That might be a hell of a search. I was going to say, he's probably a rep. Go on your Amazon and see how many bottles you can buy. And it just come by the barrel at that point. It might send up some red flags or something. But that seems a little excessive. Like that's commercial buying. I don't understand. He would have these things called freak offs. That's what he called them, where he would record them and then he would kind of, let's just say, pleasure himself for days. What? He would force women to partake and make embarrassing videos of them as blackmail. What? He was bringing in sex traffickers from other states. What? He would schedule IV treatments. IV treatments. You know, you sit there, they put some fluid into you. After day-long freak-offs, so the victims could recover from the physical exertion and drug use. So, I mean, you got to give him props for that, I guess. He's looking out for their well-being. Okay, you've been freaky for 4 days with 1,000 bottles of lubes and you've been doing all these tootskis, but here's some Sunny D to give you more energy. I don't understand what's going on here. He would even track women's locations and keep track of their medical records. What's going on? And he's obviously very, very tied. If you can find pictures of him with tons and tons of celebrities all over. What? Wow. Yeah, I don't want to spend a lot of time on this. Definitely not as much time as he did on a freak off, because I don't want an IV. But just, like I'm gonna just wipe my hands clean of this one, and we're gonna move on because I don't want to talk about that one. Accept and embrace. UFC. Ultimate Fighting Champions, Challengers, whatever it's called, Dana White, you know, it's this big thing. Jenna, I could see you being really into UFC, just by like going, no Puff Daddy video? Oh yeah, I do have a Puff Daddy video. No, I don't. No, we're good. We don't need that, Jenna. Anyway, back to what I was saying. Okay, UFC, they decided to do the Sphere, excuse me. If you've never been to the Sphere in Vegas, Jenna, it is absolutely unbelievable. The Sphere is that big ball, okay? It costs billions to build. It's unbelievable. I took a tour of it last May, I think it was, or Jenna, and it was unbelievable. what's freakish though, like you go through the start. So I went and just saw a movie. I didn't see a concert or a fight or anything like that. They have this movie that the screen is, I'll tell you in a second how big it is. But the first part you go in and they have these robots. And these robots, they look like your face, like it's rubbery / plasticky. So it looks kind of real, but then you can see like the tendons and all that. So it's metal. You can see that. But it's so weird because it's AI. And so their mouths move just like mine is, blah, blah, blah. And then they'll start talking to you. And they'll say, hi, what is your name? Kind of slow. And you say, my name is Rubio. And they'll say, oh, where are you from, Rubio? Oh, I'm from Lewiston, Idaho. And they'll say, oh, Lewiston, right next to Clarkston, Washington. And you're like, oh, okay. And then you start, they're like, what are you here for? Oh, I'm here with my wife, Jolie. Oh, hello, Jolie. And they just look to the lady next to you. That's where it's weird enough. But then you walk away and go look at something else. And by the time you come back, if they see you, they'll be like, hey, Rubio and Jolie, how are you doing again? Like, hey, man, they're learning. I've seen Terminator. I'm not in for this. That's why I told her, Jolie, I go, we got to get the hell out of here. I've seen how this turns out. There, you know, this is Skylight or Skyframe or whatever the hell that was in the Terminator, where they start by becoming your friend and then they become foe. And I'm 100% out with that. Skynet, thank you. Oh, Sub-60 Ed commented. Skynet, yeah, that was. All right, so let's talk about this. The sphere is capacity 18,000. So that's good. That's a good arena. The screen features 268 million video pixels. Holy hell. With 16K resolution. Okay, you've seen 4K on like a nice TV, maybe even 8K. 16K, I've seen it. It is unbelievable. Like if they show a horse running on the screen, you feel like you can touch the damn horse. This makes it the highest resolution screen in the world at 19,000 by 13.500 pixels. Jesus. Check out this stat. The sphere uses the equivalent amount of power as 21,000 homes. Oh, Jesus. However, 70% of the sphere's energy comes from solar. Seats at the sphere, this is awesome, would vibrate when there were big punches or a knockout. So you're sitting in this chair, someone boom gets hit, brrr, your chair vibrates. Okay, so what did it look like? Let's go to video 5, Jetta. Check this out.
Traditions and heroes. But no culture embodies the fighting spirit more than Mexico. No place on earth has produced more legendary warriors. From the beginning of time, our world has been shaped by fighting. Hand-to-hand combat is the genesis.
You look lonely. I can fix that.
Okay, for those that are listening on iTunes and Spotify, you have to understand you're basically inside a globe and the screen goes almost behind you and it's massive. It's like 12 football fields high and wide. It's just unbelievable. And the clarity, I mean, I was watching it like this and I was ducking because I thought that damn rocket or bird was going to come hit me. And it's even in the back, Jenna said, wow, it's unbelievable. Floor seats for this thing were $12,000 to $17,000. Non-floor seats went from $12,000 to $1,000. Let's do videos 6 and 7, Jenna. This will give you a little bit better perspective of it.
Picture, one for you and one for your sister who had to work tonight but isn't.
That's unbelievable. But see, this kind of pisses me off though. Like if you can see that, yeah, it's unbelievable. But you're not watching the actual ring. And I think I don't know if that would bother me or not. I mean, obviously you have the world's largest damn screen right in front of you, but I've got this strict rule, and it's because my wife Jolie took me to see Michael Bublé one time in Spokane, and we got good seats, and it pissed me off because once you have good seats at a concert, it's hard to go back to bad seats. And I said, I don't really want to know how much this costs. Don't tell me. But now I have a rule. I have to be able to throw a football and hit the person that I'm watching. If I can't throw a football and hit the person that I'm watching, I'd rather not go because I don't want to go to a concert and just do this. Jenna, do you have video 7 for me? That's awesome. I mean, it's one of those things that you can tell this is going to be more and more sporting events there and concerts. I think the Eagles are there right now. Yeah, it's unbelievable. If you have a chance to go to the Sphere, make sure you go to the Sphere. It's absolutely fantastic. Jenna, let's go to a commercial, and then we're going to come back with Working Hard is Not Enough. I'm out.
You have been watching The Rubio Method.
Let's get going, gang.
Our dedicated staff is ready to work for you. Artbeat specializes in custom apparel. Call us or order online. Free shipping nationwide. Custom printed shirts are our specialty, and we make sure you get exactly what you want. Bring in your own design or let our team create one for you. Promote your business, event, or club with pens, caps, bottles, mugs, and more.
Creating cool since 1985.
Take it away, Rubio.
Focus up. I'm talking to you, Jimmy. You know who you are. Way to keep eluding Big Brad's meats. Welcome back to episode 76. My name is Chris Rubio of The Rubio Method. You can email rubio@therubiomethod.com anytime. You can also like, subscribe, and share on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, X, Instagram, and TikTok. We're on that as well. So we're all over the place. Oh, email. Rubio, if animals could talk, which one do you think would be the rudest? That's a great question. If animals could talk, which one would be? It's got to be the hyena. Either hyena, just because they seem like jackasses, or maybe a platypus, because a platypus would you'd have to be kind of pissed if you're a platypus. Like, am I a beaver? Am I a duck? What the hell am I? Kind of got screwed. Maybe a Komodo dragon, though, because they could be rude, and who's going to fight them? Okay, I don't understand. Like, I'm going to go with hyena or platypus. I don't know. Maybe that's my answer. Working hard is not enough. All right. I wanted to bring someone on that's a good friend of mine, and about finding your new self can happen at any point. Okay. This guy I've had on the show before, and he is in his own way kind of a badass. He's inspired people to do different things. And I just wanted to bring him on because this dude he's one of those guys that age 47, he looked at himself in the mirror. I don't know if him and his wife and everyone just looked at it and said, all right, dude, you're 47. You're 5'5", 270 pounds, basically. You're a fat ass. We need to fix this or you're going to die. And on the last show that he was with me, he did say his doctors basically gave him a kick in the ass. And dude, this guy's rolling. And he's not just doing it like for podcasts, phenomenal job interviewing people. Health-wise, phenomenal job staying in shape. The dude is writing books now. Like, what the hell? So let's bring on Charles Wallace.
Rubio.
Charles Wallace, what's going on, man?
Rubio, how you doing? Thanks for the introduction. Always appreciate it. Yeah, man. You know how it goes. Honestly, unfortunately, we really didn't. It took the doctor giving me that little bit of a kick in the ass. You know, to everybody else, I looked fine and I was big boned and I carried my weight well, which was not true. But here we are, you know. Now, honestly, I'm proud to say my wife and I together, we've lost well over 200 pounds.
Holy Jesus. Okay. Yeah, but it's not only that you got it off, because trust me, I get it. That's a rough thing to do. It's a battle where you can lose like 20 pounds, then the next 5 pounds take a while. Then you got another 10 pounds, then 2 pounds can take forever. And then you drop 30 pounds and then it could be, 2 pounds. So how are you staying motivated to do that? Because I know a lot of people, how old are you right now?
52.
So you're 52 years old. You're right at midlife, basically. How do you stay motivated to keep this up? Because you're not only keeping it up with the podcast, you do a great job on the Bear Essential podcast. I obviously recommend people listen to that. But also you're staying healthy. Like how do you maintain that when you look at a pizza walking down the street?
Yeah, honestly, I've told people this before. You hear a lot of people saying you have to let go of that baggage. Mm-hmm. I tell people, for me, I kept that baggage of shame packed away, but it's close by, and I know this isn't a return trip. So that guy that I was, he's still the guy I see in the mirror. I'm being honest. He's the guy I see in the mirror, and he scares the hell out of me, man. And that's how I do it. Every morning I look, and I'm pretty much looking in the mirror and go, yeah, not today. No return.
I get it, man. I understand that because I have some bigger pictures of myself, we'll just say, and I look at them too. And my wife always says, you don't look like that anymore. And I go, I'm seeing that dude right there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm seeing that fat ass that was 375. She's like, well, that's not you, man. And I go, to me, I still wear a 4X shirt with a size. Well, I'll put it this way. In high school, I got fitted for like my Letterman jacket or something. And my measurements for chest, what do they do? Waist and hips. It was 60, 60, 60. Like that was my measurement. So I was like just a legit refrigerator box, and in a full refrigerator box sub 60, not like a dorm refrigerator box like you. So what? Now tell me, Chalice. Okay, you're doing the podcast, you're doing your health stuff, you're doing your normal job, which you got one of those jobs. I'm not even sure what the hell you're doing. You've tried to explain it to me, and don't do it again because it hurts my head. Now you're writing books, dude. Like what the hell? How do you do? What? Talk to me about that process.
I think part of why I probably let myself go was as overweight as I was and unhealthy as I was. It was being undisciplined and not really having a plan for each day. And I have a pretty good schedule where I'm usually up by 5:15, 5:30 in the morning, and come down. I'll take care of my dogs, and I usually try to get at least probably 45 to 90 minutes of creative work in, whether that's writing, posting, whatever. I schedule a lot of my posting now for LinkedIn. You know, I'm doing a lot of stuff when I have time on the weekends. If I get up early and while everybody else is not around, I'm trying to get a week's worth of content, maybe 2 weeks worth of content up and ready. But you know, the books really came about. I've always had a decent imagination. I always liked to draw, and I took art in high school. I was always somewhat of a creative guy. And as you know, late last year, my father was diagnosed with really, really aggressive cancer. And it was at that point I said, you know what, I'm going to write this first book of mine and dedicate it to him. And you know what, I want to make sure I get it done before, God forbid, something happens to him. I need him to see this and know that I did it. The character in that first book is kind of, you know, it's a little bit of a reflection of my dad, who, you know, to me is a legend, a badass of all badasses. And, you know, that character from that book, which will, I get asked a lot about a sequel to that I will be having hopefully soon. Duncan Wallace. That's pretty much the way I see my dad, and my dad's my hero. And I think, you know, people need heroes. And, you know, I think this group we have of you, me, a lot of the folks we have on social media, LinkedIn, I feel like the posting, we're helping so many people, and we're getting help by interacting with all these people. And it hit me one day. I'm like, you know what? I mean, for me, this world is really messed up. Our country is in a bad way right now. And I think that there truly is a battle, not to be dramatic. I think there's a battle right now for our kids and for those young, impressionable minds. And I said, you know what? If I can take that content and some of the things that we post and do on LinkedIn, if I can come up with a character and stories to kind of put a message out and get these kids when they're younger and give them something positive, I want to do that. And that was the book that I just recently finished, and I have it here, plug if people can see it. Adventures of Kuru the Bear. And it's a hero for kids. And in the book, it's about messages of positivity for these kids, about eating healthy, about the importance of outside. In there's the land of distractions, right? Where the video games, the phones, get away from it, right? You want to be outside, your friends, friendship, connections, all of this. And I'm trying to get that across in a book that it's relatively short. It's 5 separate stories. And in there's a message from Kuru, but also, if I could come to the end here, maybe you'll see it or not, but the end, it gives the kids a chance to write what they learned. And then at the very end, they put their own samurai signature, and then they read to their parents what they learned in the book. and it's getting a lot of good feedback.
That is phenomenal. Okay, so real quick, because I know you got to go for your dog and all that good stuff. How did you publish this? If someone's out there going like, I want to write a damn book like Chalice, how do I do that?
I did it on my own through Amazon, Kindle Direct Publishing. As you know, I use AI for all my images, and the creative process is I come up with storyboards of images that kind of help tell the story. And then I write to the images of the story, and do it all in Word documents, proof it, edit it, make sure spelling, all that good stuff is there. And then there's a program for your computer that is for Amazon Kindle Direct Publishing. I did speak to a few folks about this book, and I ain't going to sit here and tell you the interest was through the roof, So I said, you know what, like anything, I know I can do things on my own. So that book cost me nothing to produce. I produced that just my time. That was it.
And people can go on Amazon and get it. Just look up Charles Wallace.
Yeah, it's up on Amazon as we speak. Be on the lookout, because as I was writing this, my mind, as you know me, Rubio, my mind's always moving in 1,000 different directions. And I am really thrilled that I was working on still. And you've seen some of the storyboarding from it is what I think is going to be a really badass Halloween adventure that kids are going to love. And the whole premise of that book is going to be monster heroes. And basically it's that the monsters we see may be the heroes we need.
Okay, I'm going to ask you this, and I've asked you before. Am I a character in the next book?
Not yet, but listen.
Jenna, cut the feed. Just kidding.
Hold on, no. Let me come to this. You know that for Christmas last year, I wrote a more adult-oriented book based kind of off of my favorite Christmas movie, Die Hard.
Yeah.
And you and your next guest, Sub-60 Ed, are actually characters in that.
I'll let that slide.
In that book. So.
Charles Wallace, I really appreciate you. Jenna, we're going to go right. Actually, Charles, I want to tell you one more thing before you leave.
Yeah.
Keep inspiring, because you're the one. I've been doing a lot of cardio, watching what I eat, blah, blah, but I haven't been working out. And then I kept seeing your pictures, and I'm like, if his ass can do it, I can do it. That's when it was about 5 weeks ago. I go, are you using an app or what are you doing? And then he sent me the app. And so I've been 5 weeks in on working out. So kudos to you, my man. Keep inspiring me and others.
Yeah, man. And thanks, Rubio, for all that you do, man. I think your show is, I never know what's coming next, man. And I think that's what keeps it best. I mean, we've talked about this before. I can't get away with saying some of the things you say, but keep it up, man. I love it.
Not a problem. Charles Wallace, everyone, check out his book on Amazon. Jenna, I'm out.
Take care, guys. Bye.
You have been watching The Rubio Method.
Hi, Joel Maurer, founder of Dink Ninjas. Dink Ninjas was dreamed up and started right here in Austin, Texas, a dynamic pickleball community. We arm pickleballers with the paddles, apparel, and accessories to dink like a ninja. Dink Ninjas is dedicated to supporting mental health awareness and cancer research. Shop our full lineup at dinkninjas.com.
Take it away, Rubio.
Focus up. I'm talking to you, crews out in Orange County. Keep up the great work with lessons and working towards your fireman job. Is that what it would be? Yeah, it's a job, right? Or profession. I think that sounds more professional. Welcome back. My name is Chris Rubio of The Rubio Method. You can email rubio@therubiomethod.com. Make sure you like, subscribe, share on the X, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, all that good stuff. This is episode 76. All right, so I don't know if you guys know this, but I go around and I do corporate speeches a lot. And when I do these corporate speeches, I always end with confidence is the key. I always follow the same format. And the last one I did was a big one. And I was talking about how at the very end, I said that I just don't care. And they're like, well, what do you mean? And I was talking to this group at the bar after. We're just sitting there having drinks, and the crowd would say 300 people. And I said, I understand that out of these 300 people, 290 are going to love me. They're going to think it was great. And there's going to be 10, maybe I'm over exaggerating, 10 that are absolutely going to hate me. And you know what? I'm good with that because I'm an acquired taste. Not everyone's going to like it. That's why I always say, not everyone's going to like my show. You might like The Ride with Chevy and Nasty more. You like the Bare Essentials podcast more. You might like AC. You might like Doc and Chef. There's 1,000 of them. You might like Fontana's show. You might like Nick Umble's show. There's thousands of them. Regardless, I'm okay with it. And I had to get to that level of confidence where I just didn't care. And that's one of the things that I wanted to talk about as we bring in our next guest. I'm going to introduce him after we bring him on. So Sub 60, Ed, Jenna, can you get him on for me?
Can I just say, before you talk, two things. One, how do I follow that? How do I follow Charles Wallace?
Well,
I can't. I mean, he does it all, and I just don't know. And then the image of P. Diddy and Justin.
Yeah,
that's disturbing. That was gross.
That's really gross.
That is very bad. All right, go ahead. What's up?
So what is your? I don't even know what your real name is. Ed McAndrew. I forgot what your name is. Well, because I call him Sub 60 Ed, and we've been friends for about 2 years, I would say. Yeah. And for those that don't know, okay, Ed, we connected through LinkedIn, and it's kind of a funny story. It's a very Rubio-esque story. And I'll tell it again for those that are new watchers, listeners, all that good stuff. So we connect through LinkedIn, and I said, hey, I'm going to have you on my show. Let me interview you. So whenever I'm interviewing someone, not this time, but back then, I'm going through their LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, anything that I can find some nuggets on. And I'm noticing the picture of Sub 60 Ed, and I go, that dude's a little person. A midget, a dwarf, whatever you want to call him. And so I'm like, okay, because he's got a bigger head like mine. And I could tell. And I go, well, hold on. Let me look through his post here just to make sure. And he had a post that said, dwarfs, rah, rah, dwarf. And then there was a post, a couple little person, rah, rah, they're the best. And then I saw another one that said, midgets are the best. And I said, hey, man. So finally, when I got on the horn with him, it was like a Saturday morning. I said, hey, what do I call you? Because I said it out loud. Those people that know me know this, and they're not shocked. I said, he goes, what do you mean? What do you call me, Ed? And I go, no, man, are you a little person, a midget, a dwarf? What's going on? And I think Sub 60 goes, well, what do you want to call me? And I go, a Sub 60? And he goes, what the hell's a Sub 60? And I go, well, aren't all little people sub 60 inches? And he says, well, how the hell do you know that? And I go, I don't know how I know that. I just know that when I see one, I go, there's a Sub 60. So that's why he has the shirt. No, I'm not that guy. I'm Sub 60 Ed, because if another Sub 60 walks around, they're not exactly 1,000 of them per square foot. Okay. Which that'd be kind of crazy. You guys have conventions?
Yeah, they do. Actually.
Where?
Oh, all over the place. There's Little People of America. There's a whole organization.
Have you ever been?
No, it's a long story, but when I was younger, I decided I did not want to be part of that. For you don't have enough time in your show for me to go through that all. I mean, that's a story for another time, but it's basically I didn't want my size to define who I was. I wanted to be like everybody else. And back then, when I went to one meeting, I thought they all wanted to be, and I've got stories. They all wanted to be this knit unit just to themselves. But it's more, I think it's broken out more now. I think you see that more with the TV and everything. They're more outgoing. Okay.
So about 2 years ago, you and I connected, like I said, and you I think you were a little thrown back by my attitude of just whatever happens, happens, and you got to do what you got to do. And I think you kind of absorbed a little bit. And lately you've been posting these things, and I was like, I see these. I want to bring them into the confidence is the key. One of your posts, once you accept your flaws, no one can use them against you. Once you accept your flaws, you can begin working on being your best self. And I was like, ooh, I like that, because it's one of those where it is what you got. Like, I can't wake up tomorrow and say, oh God, I wish I could part my hair. Honestly, I lose. I mean, I guess you could do hair transplants, but at this point it'd be weird. And it's one of those things that, how long did it take you? I feel like you've advanced even in the last 2 years of.
Oh, no, I mean, not to cut you off. No, but I have. It's like prior to us really getting to know each other, probably 6 months, I started kind of on this journey of trying to find out. It was more of a journey of self-acceptance. And this is going to be very surprising to people who've known me for many, many, many years. I didn't realize this. I've gone through. I work with a therapist, as I've said on decades, as we've talked about men's mental health. She's more like a life coach or what have you. But I didn't realize I for the longest time I tried to be like an average sized person. I wouldn't take we were having the conversation today. I forget what we were talking about. It was about the stool to get into the bed. We were talking about that, and I would never have thought about. I would have never have done that because it was. You're sitting there, but that's what I'm saying.
Real quick question for the audience. We were talking. I said for some reason we got talking about a bed, and I go, "How do you get into a hotel bed?" These are the kind of questions that I throw to Sub 60.
Yeah.
Or even he says,
during,
at home,
during the day. Yeah.
I've got a stool. And I said, if I was your wife, I'd get you one of those little mini trampolines where you'd have to jump on it and shoot yourself onto the bed.
Yes. Yeah, he did.
That's not a good idea?
Yeah, no, because not maybe when I was younger, not at my.
Did you tell your wife my idea?
No, not yet. No, I haven't. So anyway, but no, but to your point, to where you were going with this, I have been on a journey of kind of self-acceptance and accepting more of actually being a sub 60, which I've said I embrace that. I like that sub 60 more than I like anything else because it's I'm not, little person. I'm not really. I know, Jesus, please. You know what, Jesus? Every time I give you a compliment, I throw up in my mouth a little bit. But no, to your point, it's you have to accept. You can't accept anybody else and make yourself better until you accept what you are. And like I said in my post today, you got to play the hand dealt. There's some stuff you're not going to be able to change. You got to hold those cards, throw away the ones you don't like, and change and keep playing it. And that's all we can do. And that's the only way you can do your best.
Yeah. And then another post you have, it's not about complaining about what you don't have. It's about embracing what you do have. Upgrading what can be upgraded, upgrading what can be upgraded, except that which cannot be upgraded. Yeah, I love that.
Right. That's really, if you think about it, because complaining about something you can't upgrade is a waste of time and energy. You can't, because you can't
there's
change.
Nothing you can do. It's like I say, there's winners and losers. Yeah.
Right, exactly. It would be like me complaining that I have to use a stool all the time to reach counters.
But and also, every time you're on a plane, you have a first class seat.
How's that?
Are your legs hitting the seat in front of you like mine?
Actually, you know what? You're gonna find yes, they are, but not my knees, my feet. Think about it for a second. If they're back, they're going. Yeah, if they go straight or if they're just a little bent, if they lean back, it gets uncomfortable. Yeah, I have leg room issues too. Believe it or not.
You can't scoot to the end and then bend? Like scoot your ass?
No, they do. No, they do bend. They do bend, but if the seat's back, they're not going to be able to bend all the way. And we won't go into the whole dynamics of being a dwarf, but I don't have full range of motion in my knees. So I can't get a perfect 90-degree bend. Unless people want to we could do it. If you ever want to do a whole episode on that, we could do a whole episode. I can I'll tell you about my whole Spock finger. My Spock.
What I tell you about showing me those paws?
My Spock fingers.
No, but I just love the fact that you're having confidence and doing all the stuff you're doing. And
you know what? I want to say one thing. I will, and this is gonna make me throw up. You have worn on me, and I have picked up some of your traits. So I do give you kudos to that too. So you're part of my growth over the past 2.5 years. You are a part of that. Charles Wallace is a part of that. Our whole group is really a part of it. And I'm thankful for that. And I'm thankful for our friendship. As you say, everything happens for a reason. There's a reason why you and I met. Probably
I agree.
To redeem ourselves to go to heaven instead of hell.
And I want to say a couple things that when you learn to make fun of yourself, what you've done, and I've done, I do it all the time, you basically take away the power of the bully. Because people are going to be assholes, and they're going to be even worse if you let them. So if you once you start to mock yourself, because obviously there's things to be mocked. Okay. Yeah. You're a sub 60. We got it. Okay.
Right.
Yeah. There's things to be mocked on Rubio. He doesn't know how to do anything with his hands. He can't barely plug in a damn screwdriver, or not a screwdriver. Jesus. Exactly. A light bulb. Okay. It's one of those things that everyone up here makes fun of me all the time. I'm not going to part my hair tonight. I'm not going to dunk a basketball. You're definitely not dunking a basketball. Laugh with
I got
them.
a funny story. I've got a funny story. I've got a funny story about that.
Okay.
Dunking a basketball.
Go
In
ahead.
college, I managed the men's basketball team, as I've said on your other show.
Yeah.
I used to work the basketball camps too. We had there over the summer, and the young kids loved me, because I was their size. They thought it was the best, and we had the portable hoops. So they bring the basket out and they would lower it for the younger guys, so they could try to dunk it. So I was probably 20. It was probably my junior year. And we had smaller balls. It was fun. We're just having some fun. The basket was down to like maybe 5.5 feet. The movie White Men Can't Jump?
Yeah, of course.
What white dwarfs can't jump either. Dude, I kid you not. It was low enough. I went up for it and I totally missed. I threw it over. I got booed.
Well, as you should have.
Yeah, and I was also, conversely, that same year I was used in a dunk in the high school dunk contest.
Someone jumped over.
Yeah, I sat in a chair and actually it was somebody jumped. Yeah, a guy jumped over me and dunked it.
Okay. Before I let you go, I want everyone to understand though that you and I are a perfect example of people that get along that don't agree on everything.
Yes,
there's things like, for instance, politically, Sub 60 Ed thinks I'm a jackass. I think that a lot of his beliefs are way out there. Okay. And it's one of those things that this is my health talk for the whole show. It's okay to agree to disagree with someone. It's okay to understand that not everyone's going to think the same way, because he can look at things that I think that are great. He can go, well, he thinks it, but he's an idiot. And that's fine, because I think of things that he thinks of and I go, what the hell, Sub 60? And that's okay, because we just got to put that on a back burner and know, okay, if we're going to talk about this is where it's going to go, or we can choose not to talk about it. And it's okay that he has this belief. So that's my main mission for the conference, is the key thing. And that was one of the other reasons why I wanted to bring you on. Sub 60, where can people find you if they want to get a hold of you?
Well, they can find me on the Decade Show every Tuesday night. Decades. They can also find me at Sub 60 Ed on TikTok, EDMC_91 on Instagram, and then that's the same one on Facebook. And if they want to watch some more of you and I chatting, they can catch us probably next week and come on, join us and chime in.
Absolutely. Sub 60 Ed, thanks for coming on, my man. Tell your family I said hello.
Will do. Thank you, Rubio. Always a pleasure. Jenna, take care.
All right, Jenna, let's just jump right into the bottom line. For all you new watchers and listeners, the bottom line is just everything that you should have learned without even realizing you learned it. Number one, if you say something enough, true or not, people will believe it. This goes back to the El Trumpo thing. He's Hitler. He's a threat to democracy. He's doing this. Guys, he's already been president once. He would have done it. All right? So if you say something enough, true or not, people will believe it. Number two, be as freaky as you want. But remember, not everyone might be on your same page. This goes back to P. Diddy and 1,000 bottles of lube and oil. Throttle it down. I feel like you're going to have enough time throttling it down in jail now. Number three, it is never too late to be the best version of yourself. You learned this with Chalice, and you also learned it with Sub 60 Ed. It's never too late to be the best version of yourself. All right, welcome. I thank you once again for a great episode. This was episode 76. Good to have Jenna back from Vegas, even though she was amateur hour in Vegas. Remember, if you have any questions, you can email Rubio at therubiomethod.com. Jenna, I'm out.
Thanks for watching The Rubio Method. Be sure to spread the word, and don't forget to subscribe, like, or follow on YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, Google, Amazon, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Facebook.